just a second. Some people like yesterday were way back over here. But basically, you're kind of...
You hold it to the right just a little bit and flick it back.
Actually, you're kind of staying, you know, basically, you're not coming back on yourself any, but you're staying straight and then going in like that instead of letting it come out this way and then going over. So basically, right in the middle of the two is where you're kind of flicking back and you're doing your turning right here. See how I steered real tight right there?
Yeah.
And now I've got the thing where I can pick it up and I can start driving with the throttle right here. And I just go underneath these patches, right? Right on the right side of the white line, and I drag my knee and my elbow up against this curve. Okay? And I pick my eyes up, and I drive all the way out to the edge of this curving, right? About where he was talking about the gravel was. And then as I come down here, I start wide. Right? I start wide out here.
Your turn in is pretty far back too. It looks like you're turning in before they come.
Yeah, exactly. I turn in. But I don't turn hard. It's more of a gradual turn, so I can still stay with some trail braking, where I'm not adding a lot of lean angle. I have to be off the brake. I've got probably 15 to 20% lean angle, so I can still trail brake all the way down to the curve, right? Okay. And what I'm basically doing is making that more of a straightaway, so I can carry higher speed. Because in a double apex corner, you want to do all your turning in the middle of the two apexes, right? Which is actually the true apex of the corner, because the other two apexes, right, is what I like to call the clip points, right? You clip that point going in, you run wide in the middle of the corner, and you clip that point coming out, okay? Because it's basically, you want to make it one complete turn, right? And then in this complete turn, the apex is in the middle. But if you were to, make those, if you were to divide those corners into two 90-degree corners, you would do the exact same thing. It wouldn't be any different, okay? But a lot of people, unfortunately, are trying to make it like it's a 180. Remember yesterday how many times we talked about that? They're making a square out of it because they're treating it like it's a typical 180-degree corner, right? So they got this wide entry, and then they end up oversteering, and then they're just in the middle of the track in the two. And basically, at this point, I'm starting out here at the white line. I'm just kind of making the straightest line possible down to this clip point. See, like right here, and bam, got my knee right over this, and pretty much got to bring my elbow in every time to keep knocking that cone down. Okay, and then just past this point is where a weeper will come up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, sometimes earlier. Okay, and that spot is about right here, is where it'll come up. And it's nothing really to worry too much about. I mean, I've gone across it many times, but if you're, if you're trying to turn across it, and not, and come and be about mid-track in this double apex corner where most of you guys were yesterday, right? You're going to tuck the front on that water, right? But the way I do it, and I'm still kind of not adding lean angle yet because I'm not out to the apex of the corner yet, it don't really affect me too much. But then get the thing out there at the edge.
Is this where your maximum lean angle is, kind of right up here?
In the middle of the corner. Yeah, exactly. That's where I do all my turning. I'm kind of off brakes. Maybe just back to neutral throttle. I'm not able to add a lot of lean angle, but then as I start to add throttle, I got to get back some lean angle, right? So I start pushing the bike away. Just clip the edge of this patch right here. About 2 feet onto that patch is good, right?
The cement patch?
Yeah, the cement patch. And then get underneath these tar patches that are around the track. You want to make sure you stay under those pretty much everywhere, okay? All right, so then I clip my elbow against this curve too, and then drive it out about 5 to 6 feet from the edge of this curving here, right? Okay. And then as you drive back, don't drive back more than about 3/4 track. Like there's 2 seam lines right here. There's another one here. Just get to the middle of them. All right, some people drive all the way back to this white line. It's a big waste of time. You're giving up your drive out of turn 3, and then also this corner here, by doing that, you're kind of making it a corner. Okay, you're getting out here, then you're turning, coming down. It really flows well if you just come back to about half track and then turn in instantly, right? Some of you guys yesterday were coming out and holding your line and then going in, and it was making you late every time. You just drive out of 3 and then turn straight into 4, right? And what I do is I aim for the beginning of this curving, right there, right at the beginning of it, right? And
then you dragging there?
Huh?
You dragging your knee there?
Yeah.
And then just aim out towards the edge of the track there.
And then drive it out here to the edge,
This is where it was real wet and shit.
It was a little wet yesterday, and this is the best I've seen it in a year or two. Really? Honestly, it's been good. And there was a weeper right there yesterday, and I would just go right around the outside of that. It would really open up this corner, and you want to run right along this seam right here. You get down close to the curb, and then bring it down to the curb, and then pick your eyes up and drive all the way out here to the other side of the track. Okay? Making the corner as big as possible, right? And one thing to remember in that corner too is when you get to the bottom right there before you take the right into 5, you're about to start up a hill, right? So you need to get off the brakes a little earlier and go back to neutral throttle a little earlier, okay? Right? One thing we talked about yesterday too that some of you guys didn't come yesterday, might have missed out on, was when you come off the brakes like that, you can't basically go from off throttle to on throttle, right? You have to go to 50% throttle every time, or 5% throttle every time. Right, excuse me. Wow. Woo! Right. No, but if you do that, you're going to spin the tire every time. If you go from off throttle to on throttle, right, like that, your weight is on the front wheel, and there's no weight on the rear wheel, and it's going to spin up. Okay? So basically, what you have to do is when you come off the front tire, crack back up the throttle at the same time you're kind of releasing the brake off, go back to the throttle, boom, transfers the weight to the rear tire, it increases that contact patch, and you get to the middle of the corner, then you can accelerate. Okay? Sometimes if you get in the corner a little deep, you know, you're getting off the brakes, you're kind of hunting to find traction, you finally get the thing turned, you're slow in the middle of the corner, you'll just go back to more throttle quicker, right? You can't do that. You gotta crack open the throttle a little bit first, transfer the weight, and then accelerate. Okay? We watch videos of every MotoGP guy. All do the same thing. Come in the corner, boom, just like that. Same sound they make. They're doing that in their helmets too.
Were you getting slipped? Were you kind of spinning a lot in the back tire yesterday?
No, not really. No, I took that pretty good. What tires you run?
I just got some super courses.
Yeah.
Well, I think I got a suspension issue. Mm-hmm. So I was having some issues with that yesterday.
What compound?
S2.
S2. Okay.
You know, I get S1 in the front and
Yeah, that's pretty good compounds.
Right there, going in there, that's bumpy when you go in there really hard on the brakes, isn't it? Or yesterday it was for me. If you go in really hard on the brakes, it's like the ass was hitting bumps and you kind of hopping and skipping around.
It does a little bit. I tell you what would help you a little bit as you come in. You probably got the front end collapsed too far because it is downhill, right? You probably got the front end collapsed too far and your rear is real light and it's kind of bouncing off the bumps a little easier. Take when you go in there, kind of sit back like that just a little bit, you know, and just take a little bit weight, move back just a little bit on the seat, and take a little weight off the front end, right? And you can still go in the same distance, you know, depth, anyways, and be a little bit smoother, right?
Even it out a little.
Yeah, and also one thing that helps too is if you do. When you're downshifting into there, you're slipping that clutch out really slow for every downshift. Because if you do it too quick and you just dump it out and you're just relying only on your slipper clutch, it's going to cause too much engine braking, which is also going to, you know, engine braking kind of squats the bike a little bit and it doesn't let the suspension soak up as well as it should. Okay? So engine braking's good in one way, but in some ways it's not as good. Okay?